Hello. We today are going to use this physics aviary website to really make sure we understand path difference and constructive and destructive interference and starting condition and ending condition, and it's going to be amazing. So here it is. So anyway, here's our website, and let me hit begin. And if you take a look, so here's you hanging out, and here's some gigantic speakers over here. And if I turn my speakers on, you can see that they are making waves in phase. Do you see that? See, it's going up and down, up and down. That is in phase. So guess what? My starting condition, no matter where I move them, you can see, is going to be in phase. So my starting condition here is going to be in phase, in phase. Okay. Well, that means that if you look at path difference, so let's put them on top of one another. If I put them perfectly on top of one another, you will see that the path difference from one to the other is 0. So which means if you start in phase, you end in phase, which means that our person at the end, they hear a really loud sound, okay? But if I move this, and I'm going to activate the grid so we can see, but if I move this, okay, you can see my waves are starting in phase, but they are now currently out of phase. In fact, if it says combined status, if I click on that, you can see, oh, I'm not perfectly there. Let's see if I can get perfect. Oh, there's perfect. You can see the combined status is you get nothing. Okay, so I'm going to make that combined status go away. But if you take a look, so can you see how the person here, if I pause it, you see how that's destructive interference. If I hit play and I pause it, that's destructive interference. It's always going to be destructive interference, which means my ending condition for this person, this is, again, ending condition is what you perceive. The ending condition for this person would be out of phase. So I'm starting in phase, and you can see they're still in phase, and I'm ending out of phase, which means I have to be off by a half a wavelength. So you ready? We're going to do some calculations. This is sound. Typically, the speed of sound is right around 340. So if you take your calculator and you take 340 divided by 15, why am I divided by 15? Because that's my frequency. And I hit equals. I get 22.67 meters. Well, half of 22.67 meters is 11.33 meters. And if you look, do you see how the path difference is 11.33 meters? Isn't that amazing? You know, if you want to find, if we find another spot where it's going to be, let's find a spot where it's in phase, for example. So let's say, looks like that would be my first time that I'm in phase. And if you look, I am 23.66 meters apart from one another. You know, if I keep going, and that would be my first, like my path difference would be like 1 times the wavelength. Well, if I go to my next time where I'm out of phase, let me see if that's pretty close. Okay. Well, in this case, this one would be where I am going to be 1.5 waves off. Well, if I take 22.66 times 1.5, I get 30, essentially 34. And if you look, oh my gosh, that's where I'm at. I'm at 34 because that's 1.5 waves off. Isn't that cool? I know, it is cool. So hopefully that makes sense as far as the path difference from one to the other. All right, bye, kids.